A very good evening to all of you and welcome to our today's session. Today we have with us CA Naren Madlani, who is a well-known person in the field of FEMA and compliances. He will be explaining to us what are the various permissible avenues for investment by NRI in India. And to introduce the today's faculty formally, I would like to invite Atul Madhuriyaji, who is our coordinator for today and core group member.
Thank you. I'm happy to introduce my friend Naren here. He's been in practice since 1987. He has successfully guided hundreds of clients on transaction structuring from income tax, international taxation, FEMA consultancy, advantage point. At the core of our consultancy renaissance, clients needs to, along with the comprehensive overview of law, and he guides about it. His post-qualification, past affiliations as a co-convener of FEMA Study Circle of Bombay Chartered Accountants Society, group leader and speaker at Bombay Chartered Accountants Society Study Circles, WRC of Institute of Chartered Accountant of India, as well as WRC Study Circles. He has co-authored book on FEMA called Reference to FEMA, published by Institute of Chartered Accountant of India, and he is speaker at various study circle and seminars. With this brief introduction, I would like to welcome Naren, and please welcome him with loud applause. As mark of our love and affection, I request our past convener Chintan to hand over memento to the speaker. ના ના એ અમે શ્યોર કરીએ છીએ કે આપણે એટલે હવે બરાબર બોલવું જ પડશે. પ્લસ બહારથી બંધ કરી દઈએ છે દરવાજો.
Thank you.
I would request you to cover specifically two areas if possible. One is, when we are talking about investment by NRI, what happens that many people have given up their citizenship. So they may be having passport of other country, surrendering India. So if that can be covered. Secondly, now hot topic is, they are NRI, but they have also OCI. So if there is any
got of my presentation.
And secondly, now new hot topic of 20% TCS.
That is NRIs.
Yeah. So if that can also be covered briefly, because that is now very hot topic. People are quite worried about it. So if that can be covered, it would be
okay. We'll see.
Thank you.
Time permits.
Yeah.
Yeah, this thing. Nothing. I have to see here only.
Thank you.
Will be here. Full screen or make it full screen. उसके बाद करेक्ट नहीं है नहीं होगा उसको उसे बोलिए ओके मैं इसके सामने में सर at the outset, I am thankful to convener of the study circle, Miss Purvi, and Atul is my very close friend. I didn't know he is the coordinator over here. Nice to meet him after 20 years, I think. So friends, today we'll be covering subject of investment opportunities to the non-resident and OCI in India. Both they can invest in repatriation basis, non-repatriation basis, proprietorship, partnership, LLP, investment in shares and securities. Will cover everything. Okay. Yeah, this is the chart. It gives two options. Non-resident can invest on equity investment or can invest in debt investment. Okay. In equity, again, we have divided into two parts: repatriation basis and non-repatriation basis. Hope everybody will be aware of the repatriation, non-repatriation concept. Okay. In repatriation basis, we have three options. Non-resident can invest in FDI, that is called foreign direct investment. Second option is Schedule 3, foreign portfolio investment. And third one is investment in the capital of LLP. Okay. What is the first one? What is the second one? What is the third one? We'll discuss in brief and then we'll go into the detail. Okay. If non-resident is interested to invest in India in the capital of Indian company, and he brings in the capital into India, such this thing is called FDI, foreign direct investment by the non-resident. Okay. And here the intention of the non-resident who is investing is to do the business. Intention is to control the company, do the business in India. That is the intention. And second one is Schedule 3, wherein it is foreign portfolio investment. Foreign portfolio investment means if non-resident is interested to buy shares and securities from the Indian share market, there the intention is not to do business. Intention is to earn out of the buying and selling of shares and securities from the stock exchange. That is the intention. Okay. So first one is for doing the business, second is portfolio investment, and third one is if they, instead of going for the private limited company, if non-resident wants to invest in India, they've got option of LLP. They can invest in the capital of LLP. Now, friends, anybody knows clearly what is the difference between private limited company and LLP? Some people out of the mind in LLP is better than private limited. We have got apart from that. Anything else? We have covered up in last slide. We'll cover up that in the last slide. Okay. One point is that. That is okay. Correct. We'll cover up that in the last slide. We have covered up everything. So these are the three options to invest in India by the non-resident in the equity instruments on repatriation basis. FDI, portfolio investment, and third one is the investment in the capital of LLP. Okay. Now, second one is non-repatriation basis. Non-repatriation basis, it is covered under Schedule 4. So non-resident can open up a partnership firm, proprietorship firm, or he can invest in a private limited company in the share capital of private limited company, or he can buy the units of mutual fund wherein more than 50% is invested in equity and convertible notes in startup and capital in LLP. So capital in LLP, that is permissible in both the ways, repatriation and non-repatriation. First one which we saw just now, that is on repatriation basis, and under Schedule 4, it is on non-repatriation basis. The benefit is when it is on a non-repatriation basis, you don't have to do any compliance. In any of the investment which are covered in non-repatriation basis, don't have to do any compliance. As if you are a resident of India, you can do the business in India. Okay. Next one is debt instruments. We'll cover in the next slide. Again, in debt instrument also, we have got two options: to invest on repatriation basis or non-repatriation basis. On repatriation basis, government dated securities, treasury bills, unit of domestic mutual funds with less than or equal to 50% of the investment in equity. If it is equal to 50% or less than 50, then it is debt instrument. If it is more than 50%, then it goes in the repatriation, that is in a repatriation basis. Same investment is also allowed on non-repatriation basis. I also covered on the non-repatriation basis. Additionally, in repatriation basis, bond issued by the PSU, that is India, that is also permissible. bonds issued by the infrastructure debt fund is also covered. Listed non-convertible redeemable preference shares or debentures are also covered. That is covered under both the limbs, non-repatriation, repatriation both. And debt instrument issued by a bank and subscription to national pension scheme, that is also permissible in repatriation basis. Okay. Now, when you're investing on repatriation basis, you have to do some certain compliances which are not there in case when you invest on non-repatriation basis. Okay. So NRI OCI has to be first registered with any bank as a portfolio under portfolio investment scheme. If you go to any bank and ask bank, I want to invest on repatriation basis under portfolio investment scheme, then banker will get you the PSI number within 24 hours. It is very fast for the banker. Once you are registered as a portfolio investment scheme with a particular banker, then you can do trading. Even for the repatriation basis, sorry, equity as well as debt. Both situations, you have to register yourself as a PIS when investment is on repatriation basis. Purchase consideration has to be out of the direct remittance from overseas country or from NRE account. It cannot come from the NRO account. Okay. Sale consideration has to be deposited in NRE account because if it goes to NRO account, then it becomes non-repatriable. Okay. And in the other side, on non-repatriation basis, purchase consideration has to come from NRE, direct remittance, NRO, 3 accounts. Second, sale consideration is to be deposited in NRO account. When somebody non-resident is acquired, debt instrument on non-repatriation basis, whenever it disposes of such instrument, then whatever the sale consideration, he has to deposit in NRO account only. It cannot go to NRE account. On the other side, it goes to NRE account. Here, no registration or compliance is required. Is it clear? Shall we take the question in between or better it is better it will be as in when we discuss. If you come out with the question, it's better for me also. Yeah, better. Whatever you think. No, I think it is better. Otherwise, see, after 10 slides are completed, if you ask me the question of earlier one. Any question?
So whether I buy or sell to some broker also, first I need to register as a PIS.
If it is on repatriation basis, I will go to the formalities little later, but this is the primary this thing. We have covered up that. We'll come to just
and both every same whether a person once he is NRI, whether citizen or not.
that also we have covered. Just wait for a see. Try to understand 3, 4, 5 concepts very clearly. Otherwise, you won't be able to understand anything. Non-resident means NRI, OCI, non-NRI, foreign company, foreign LLP, foreign partnership, any foreign entity. Non-resident means covers all these entities. Okay. We are just familiar with the NRI only, but that is not the this thing purpose. Here we cover everything: foreign company, foreign partnership, any foreign entity, absolute foreigner who is of non-Indian origin. He is also covered here. Okay. Now next one is non-resident Indians. We call NRI. NRI means a person who is residing outside India but holding Indian passport. Like most of the people who go to Gulf countries, they don't get citizenship over there. Even if they stay for 30 years, 40 years, they don't get citizenship. So they have to use Indian passport only. So if they're holding Indian passport and they are residing outside India, such people are called NRI, non-resident Indians. Clear? Now, other way, suppose people who goes to USA, Australia, Canada, okay, there once they stay for certain number of years, they are eligible to apply for the local citizenship. And once they apply for the local citizenship, they surrender Indian passport and get the foreign passport. Once they get the foreign passport, they fall under the second category. Overseas citizen of India means a person residing outside India who is a citizen of foreign country and registered as OCI. They have to register as overseas citizen of India card. They have to apply for the card for the overseas citizen, OCI. Okay, under Section 7A of the Citizenship Act 1955. They have to obtain a card. Otherwise, they are not NRI. They are just PIO. Because nowadays, earlier, Atul might be remembering, earlier there was a concept of PIO. That is gone almost, except one or two notification. Rest everywhere. If somebody non-resident wants to buy property in India, commercial, residential, he should hold OCI card. Otherwise, not eligible to buy the property. If he is NRI, it is okay. But if he is overseas citizen holding passport of the foreign country, then he has to apply for the OCI card and get the card. Only then is eligible to buy property in India. Okay. Now, third concept, which is almost removed from all the notifications of FEMA except notification 5. That is for the opening of NRE, NRO accounts in India. Person of Indian origin means a person resident outside India who is citizen of any other country other than Bangladesh or Pakistan or such other countries as specified by the central government who satisfy the following conditions. Okay. Who was a citizen of India by virtue of Indian Citizenship Act 1955. Earlier he was citizen of India, now is staying abroad and holding foreign passport. Such people are considered as PIO. Or who belong to a territory that became part of India after 15 August 1947. Such people are also PIO. Third one, who is a child or grandchild or great-grandchild of a citizen of India or person who is covered in A and B above category, such person is also PIO. And last category, who is a spouse of the foreign origin, but she is a spouse of the Indian citizen. Then also she is eligible to claim as a PIO. Suppose Indian person goes outside India and marries a foreign girl, then the girl to whom he marries, she is also considered as PIO and eligible to open NRE, NRO account in India. So is it clear to everyone? NRI, OCI and PIO. In PIO also covers OCI.
It's nowhere related to income tax declarations.
No. PI also includes OCI card holder registered under Section 7A of the Indian Citizenship 1955. Now we are coming to the NRO and NRE account. NRO account is similar to that of our saving bank account. Like we operate SB account like that. Non-resident who opens account in India and he can use that account only for the Indian transactions. He cannot remit anything outside India. That is for the local payment, local receipts, etc. Such account is called NRO. Even NRE is also in Indian rupee, but here you cannot remit any consideration lying in NRO account outside India. Okay, so these accounts are permitted to open and maintain NRO account. For the local current account income, capital related receipts can be deposited there. Local payment can also be made from this account, but no remittance from NRO account can be made outside India except the transfer of 1 million under 1 million remittance scheme. That is a special scheme. A fund is lying in NRO account, which is normally not repatriable. But if he obtains 15 CACB from chartered accountant, means if he takes the certificate from the chartered accountant, the fund which is lying in NRO account is tax paid fund. There is no need tax liability. Understood? Is it clear? Suppose if I earn 10 lakh of rupees and suppose I have to pay 1,50,000 as tax. If I have not paid the tax, then CA will not give me the certificate. So when you go to chartered accountant for 15 CACB, he will definitely ask you where this fund has come from. He will inquire for the source, everything, documentary evidence. And once he is convinced applicable tax has been paid, then he will allow you to, they will issue the 15 CACB, and on the basis of that, the non-resident can transfer the fund outside India up to $1 million US per year. That is around 8 crore 20 lakh today's rate, 82. even if it is not repatriable, normal course, but if he proves the applicable taxes have been paid and CS convenes and issues 15 CSCB certificate, then even if fund is lying in NRO account, such fund can be repatriated outside India or such fund can be transferred to NRE account. NRE is similar to foreign account only. What is the difference? Account is physically in India, NRE, but fund lying in NRE account can be repatriated anytime outside India. There is no restriction. Physically account is in India, but for all practical purposes, as if it is outside India. There is no any restriction. Banker cannot ask you the question, whom you are remitting, what is the purpose, this, that, nothing. That is the fund belonging to NRI and fully repatriable. So that is the fundamental difference between NRE and NRO. Yeah, that is under LRS, up to 2,50,000 USD. 2,50,000 USD, up to that, you can remit for your son's education. If you are remitting under LRS, and LRS, you are permitted to open account outside India. And if you are remitted to that account, then when you make the remittance from India, you have to file Form A2 and declaration. In declaration, you have to mention the purpose for which you are remitting. Okay. Accordingly, you can remit. So up to $250,000, there is no restriction. You can use it for the capital and current account transaction, which are permissible under FEMA. What is not permissible, for such purpose, you cannot make any remittance. For example, if you are willing to buy a lottery ticket of $10, that you cannot buy from the LRS. That is not permissible. So NRE account means the account in which fund can come from outside India, or if it is transferred from the NRO account with the 15 CSCB from chartered accountant, then such fund can be transferred to NRE account, or alternatively, it can go outside India. So NRE and outside India both are on the same footing. Whether you transfer to NRE account or remit outside India, both are on the same footing. And fund lying in NRE account can also be used for the local payment. There is no restriction. It is one way. Fund lying in a NRE account can be spent anywhere in the local payment. Any doubt? NRE, NRO? Is it clear to everyone? Same chart which I had shown in the first slide, that is presented in a tabular form. Investment in equity instruments on repatriation basis, so portfolio and FDI. Then debt instrument, that is also in repatriation, and capital contribution in LLP. These are the four options for non-resident to invest in India. Non-resident or OCI. Okay. Similarly, on non-repatriation, investment in equity instrument, that is also permitted. Debt instrument is also permitted, as we discussed in second slide, and capital contribution in LLP on repatriation as well as non-repatriation basis under both of basis, it is permitted. And capital contribution in proprietorship and partnership, this is also permitted. See, if you invest, if non-resident invest in an Indian company which is not a listed company, even 1% investment by the non-resident is considered as FDI. But if it is a listed company, then up to 10% it is portfolio investment. Above 10%, it is classified as FDI. They will have to comply with the FDI formula. Any amount, even a single share you buy, you have to comply with the FDI formality. But if it is a listed company, and if he buys shares of the Indian listed company up to 10%, then it is considered as portfolio investment. About 10%, it is FDI. Any other question, friends?
Capital contribution in LLP. If it's in FDI, so to the extent of capital only we can repatriate, or with the profit also we can repatriate?
See, it goes without saying one concept. Repatriation, non-repatriation is only so far the principal amount is concerned. If it is principal amount, original amount which you brought to India, that is principal amount, that is repatriable, non-repatriable. But so far the profit is there, that is fully repatriable. Even if investment is a non-repatriation basis, profit is fully repatriable, subject to payment of Indian taxes. That is also permitted. If you invest for the capital of the LLP, if see, so far as the NRIs are concerned, NRI OCR, there is option whether you want to invest in LLP on repatriation or non-repatriation. But if you are not NRI, you are absolute foreigner, foreign company, then there is no such option. Then compulsory they have to go under FDI. Understood?
So we say, thought in LLP repatriation, no, FDI.
Not LLP, not LLP. See, entire FEMA revolves around two types of transactions. Entire FEMA revolves around two types of transactions, current and capital account transaction. Restrictions are there on capital account transaction, but so far the current account transactions are concerned, there is no restriction. Almost freely permissible. So income which non-resident earns in India, whether original investment and repatriation or non-repatriation basis, income is fully repatriable subject to payment of taxes in India. So LLP is invest, suppose a non-resident invest in LLP on non-repatriation basis, say 100,000 rupees, that is 1 lakh rupees. And if he earns profit of 1 year and if he pays the tax, after paying tax, net of tax, he can remit outside India. See, that is not disinvestment. See, you must have heard one word in economic times or times of India. Rupee is not fully convertible in India. What does it mean? In most of the advanced countries, capital and current, both accounts are freely permissible. If you go to Gulf country, UK, US, Australia, you transfer the capital, you bring it back to India, there is no restriction in that country. But so far as India is concerned, if you are making remittance on account of the current account transaction, it is mostly permitted. But so far the capital account transaction is concerned, you have to go look into the related notification. If it is permitted on a particular notification, that particular capital account transaction, then it is permissible. Otherwise, you have to approach the RBI, and RBI may or may not give the permission. It is simply, I can explain in the other language. The items of profit and loss account are all current account transaction. If you receive some income from foreign, if you pay some technical fees, professional fees, royalties, anything you debit to profit and loss account, these items which fall in the profit and loss account, they are all current account transaction, and there is no restriction on current account transaction. But if it falls in the balance sheet, then it is a prohibited. It is permissible if particular notification for that particular transaction is there. Suppose non-resident wants to buy a property in India, it is a capital account transaction. You have to have a notification. So there was notification number 21R. Now it is merged with NDI rules. Okay. So if it is a capital account transaction, then you have to search for a particular notification applicable to your transaction. If such notification is not there, then it is prohibited. Or else you have to apply to RBI for the special permission. Chances are very rare that RBI will give the permission. So whatever income non-resident earns in India, whether on repatriation basis or non-repatriation, whatever the income earned, that is fully repatriable, subject to payment of taxes. FCNR. Suppose, see, NRE account, suppose I bought money before 10 years, say $1 lakh. I deposited in NRE account. That time the rate was 40 rupees. So 40 lakh is credited in my NRE account. Now, today I am transferring. Now it is, I have 40 lakh somewhere, it ho gaya, 70 lakh. And I am repatriating back to my home country. If they divide by 82 rupees today's rate, then it will be less than what he brought into India. Understood? He had bought 1 lakh. Whether we convert in rupee, she says, I'm not less bothered about the conversion of it. But I had transferred $1 lakh. Today I'm getting 85 lakh, $85,000. Ultimately, I'm in loss. So most of the NRI who are under the apprehension that rupee is likely to fall down, they say we don't want to invest in NRE account in rupees. So banker has given them the scheme. You can invest in FCNR. Instead of keeping money in INR, you can open FCNR account. In FCNR account, you can bring in the form of dollar, pound, major 4-5 currencies and retain in that. And then the rate of interest is very low. In NRE account, rupee account, you may get 6, 7%, 8%, but there they give only 2%. What the benefit is, your principal amount is intact. After 10 years, if you take it away, then you will get the full amount plus interest at the rate of 2%. That's the difference between NRE and NRI.
Interest in either of these accounts are exempt of tax.
NRE and FCNR both are exempt under Section 10(4) of the Income Tax Act. NRO interest is taxable. And taxable in the sense that even income tax people deduct 30% TDS. 30%, not small amount. Even a non-resident has got a property in India, and if he gives the property on rent, then if the buyer who has taken the property on lease from the non-resident is aware of his status, he is a non-resident, he will have to deduct 30% tax, TDS. Many people are doing cheating. Doesn't disclose he is a non-resident. He gives the Indian address and registers the agreement. And they don't deduct, okay, Indian. They deduct token amount. Any other question, friends? I would like to see that each and every concept is completely clear in your mind. Otherwise, you won't be able to understand the next slide. Is it clear? Now, first we'll go to the FDI. NRI OCI investment on equity instrument, debt instrument. We are on equity instrument. In equity, we are on the schedule number 1, FDI, foreign direct investment. This is very important part for the chartered account, for practicing chartered accountant. See, FDI, if non-resident wants to bring money into India, first thing you have to see that particular activity which non-resident wants to do in India, the business, type of the business, nature of business, it should not fall in prohibited activities. These are the prohibited sectors. Lottery business, gambling, cheat fund, nidhi, trading in TDR, real estate business, except development of construction, development and construction of activities. Manufacturing of cigars, cheroot, tobacco related public sectors like railway operation, atomic energy. Real estate business need to understand the concept very clearly. What does real estate business mean? If intention is to buy and sell the land on the profit out of that without making any value addition, then it is real estate business which is prohibited. But if NRI buys a plot of land, he constructs commercial residential premises to sell it to the residents, okay, later on, then such activity is not covered under the real estate definition. The construction and development is permitted. Maybe commercial, residential, bridges, dams, anything, roads, but only buying and selling without any value addition. And frequency should also be there. Suppose non-resident buys 1 or 2 property in India and then sells after 3 years, 5 years. That is permitted. That is not a business. But he buys number of property frequently and sells, then it amounts to business, which is not permitted. Any other question on these active prohibited sectors?
Farming.
FDI, we are covering agriculture slide. We are covering that in a sectoral cap, separate slide we have got for that. So first thing you have to check is, okay, business is non-resident wants to do in India, whether that is permitted or that is not prohibited. First thing you have to check here. If it is not prohibited, then you have to go. There are 2 options, automatic route and government approval route. Okay. Most of the businesses are permitted an automatic route, but there are certain activities for which you require government approval. Okay, now we'll go to that. First, we'll understand what is the equity instruments. Equity instrument doesn't mean only shares of the Indian company, equity shares of the Indian company. It is equity shares, and it now also covers, prior to October 19, only fully paid equity shares were covered in the equity instruments. Now, even partly paid shares are also covered. But the condition is that 25% should be paid upfront. 25% of the total amount to be paid upfront. And balance 75% you can bring within next 12 months, not beyond 12 months. Otherwise, such transaction not allowed. Similarly, fully and mandatory convertible preferences or debentures. Today, the instrument is preference or debenture, but it is fully convertible into equity, say over a period of 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, as initially decided by the investor and investee. Okay. If it is fully and mandatory convertible, there is no any option to reverse it, fully convertible. Then such instrument, even if it is issued today, such instrument is treated as equity instrument, and you have to comply with the FDA formality. But when you issue such preference share or debenture, which is fully and mandatory convertible, you have to decide, suppose it is decided it will be converted after 5 years. Okay. Then you have to go for the valuation. What will the value of your equity shares after 5 years? Suppose you are issuing preference share today at 10 rupees per preference share, and your equity valuation after 5 years is under the DCF valuation method, say arrives at 50 rupees. It means you have to give ratio of 5 preference share is equal to 1 equity share. That ratio should also be decided upfront. You have to stick to that ratio. And whenever after 5 years, when you convert such instrument into equity, you have to follow that ratio. Yeah, definitely. Period and all terms and conditions are to be mentioned. No? Otherwise, the non-resident will not invest. No? You have to comply with the company act formality also. Yeah, everything have to do.
The companies are issuing CCPs. 1%.
0.01%
0.01%
interest.
to be converted some amount of time as per SHA. This is especially happening with reference to startup companies. Big issue. So, non-resident also is in a position to invest in the same CCPs, where the period is not mentioned, though defined under SHA.
That such instrument doesn't fall under equity instrument. Such instrument is categorized as debt instrument. Initially, in I think first to second slide, I told you okay, if it is a debt instrument and debentures or preferences which are not fully and mandatory convertible, such instrument will fall under the category of a debt instrument, and you have to comply with the provision of ECB. You are borrowing money from the non-resident. You are taking loan from the non-resident. That is called ECB, external commercial borrowing. You have to comply with the conditions of ECB.
You mean to say they are considering this as a debt?
Yeah. See, if it is not fully and mandatory convertible with fixed number of years of time, then it is not a equity instrument. There should not be any option to the investor or investee. That is okay, but that is not falling under the equity instrument. That falls under the debt instrument. So far as the FEMA is concerned, they have to comply with the ECB guidelines.
It can be covered under debt instrument.
Yeah.
Which is permitted.
That is why here it is specifically mentioned, fully and mandatorily convertible, not optionally convertible, mandatorily convertible.
It is mandatorily convertible.
There is no any option. It has to be converted into equity. 5 years, 10 years, 7 years.
If we converted into equity, at time.
No, period has to be mentioned. It cannot be like that.
Period is never mentioned in SHG as far as any startup company is concerned. Right? Considering this fact, all this CCP's issue to become the shareholder of the company. And they are showing that as part of setup.
So far as the Company Act is concerned, accounting side is concerned, that is okay. But under FEMA, period and conversion ratio, everything should be fixed initially. That is called upfront. Otherwise,
Will take all on whom? Company or investor? FEMA will take a call on investor or on the company.
company who is borrowing, because so far as the investor who are non-resident, you cannot catch all non-residents. So you have to catch the company only. It is a duty of the company while accepting such instruments.
So they are taking RBI's permission. They are taking RBI's.
RBI permission, they will give as a debt instrument, ECB. Last one is share warrants issued by the Indian company. If Indian company issues share warrants, such instrument is also covered under the equity instrument and you have to comply with the FDI formalities. Okay. Here the condition is 25% to be brought upfront and balance 75% to be brought within 18 months. Okay. Now, a very important part of the FDI, Schedule 1, is the sectoral cap. Anybody aware of the sectoral cap? What is sectoral cap?
Maximum investment in a sector by.
Correct.
With the 8% or some certain
74, 49, aviation.
Correct. We'll go to this slide. Kumar slide. We'll show you a highlight of that slide. It is a very big list. See, there are many different sectors covered in the FDI, but I have taken only few of them because if you cover everything, it will take 6 hours to discuss everything. Okay. So, see, for example, agriculture, 100% under automatic route, but only these many activities, not other activities. Floriculture, horticulture, cultivation of vegetables, mushrooms, development, production of seeds, animal husbandry, and services related to agro and allied sectors. Only this many activities are permitted under agriculture. Other activities, it is mentioned in the note, are not permitted. Sectoral cap is 100%. Next, plantation. What is plantation? एग्रीकल्चर प्लांटेशन में क्या डिफरेंस है?
Period of crops, while plantation would be probably of the larger.
See, rice, wheat, all cereals we grow, na? They are agriculture because once you grow that within 3 or 4 months crop comes and then it is over. Again, your field will be vacated and you but in case of plant like tea plantation, coconut plantation, mango plantation, once the tree is grown, it gives production for number of years. That is called plantation. एक बार crop लेके खत्म किया, that is agriculture. So here certain plantations are permitted. Tea sector including tea plantation, coffee plantation, rubber plantation, plum oil tea plantation, olive oil tea plantation. These are the plantations which are permitted under automatic route up to 100%. Next.
Because under compulsory. All these plantations companies are owned by most of non-residents.
Yeah, they're
Most of
permitted.
them. That's the reason under
Permitted.
compulsory
Yeah,
route.
Darjeeling tea. Defense activity. Will not go into the details of each and every. Defense activity permitted up to 100%, but under automatic route, it is permitted up to 49%. If you want to invest, non-resident wants to invest beyond 49%, then government approval is required. That also, if they give some new technology or some new other reasons to justify to government why this activity is required in India. If you have brought new technologies which are not there in India, then government may give the permission. So you have to apply for the permission from the central government. If they give permission, then you can invest beyond 49%. Up to 49%, it is permitted. If it is 49%, then you have to have a local partner who invests 51%. That is called JV, joint venture. Part investment by the NRI and part by the non-NRI. Print media, 26%. 26%, and with the government approval. Without government approval, you cannot go for the activity of print media. Compulsorily, you have to go for the government approval. Construction and development, it is permitted up to 100% under automatic route, but there are certain conditions to be fulfilled. Once you start the project, see, each phase of the construction development project shall be considered as a separate project. Investors shall be permitted to exit on the completion of the project or after development of the trunk infrastructure, that is road, river, supply, street lighting, etc. There are so many conditions for this project. If you fulfill those conditions, then investment under automatic route up to 100% is permitted. Trading is a very big sector nowadays. B2B trading is permitted up to 100%. What is B2B? Cash and carry wholesale. That is B2B, business to business. I cannot sell to any retailer, a consumer. I cannot sell to consumer. So seller and buyer both should be registered under GST, etc. Means both are doing business. So I am a consumer, so non-resident cannot sell me the product. It is not allowed. The other person is businessman, is doing business of that particular item, then it is permitted. That is B2B is permitted up to 100% and under automatic. There are also some conditions. E-commerce. E-commerce B2B is permitted up to 100% under automatic. Instead of physical trading, if you are selling online and B2B, then also 100% investment is permitted. Okay. Marketplace model. This is very important. So marketplace model of e-commerce. 100% is permitted. Does anybody know what is marketplace model of e-commerce?
You can't hold it.
Correct. Perfect. Like Amazon. If you order anything on Amazon, so Amazon is not allowed to hold the inventory. They will buy from the third party and sell it to you. He will give service as an intermediary. He will collect the product, deliver it to you, collect the payment from you, and send the payment to the on their commission base. Actually, it is business only, but such model is permitted. Yeah, they are facilitating buyer and seller on site, etc. Sometimes it happens the customer may not be aware of the supplier, who is the supplier. Amazon. Great, no? This model. If they hold the inventory, then retail trading is not permitted. Single brand product. They cannot hold the inventory in their own name.
Right. So supplies inventory lying in the facilitation centers of these e-commerce.
Generally, I think such also not permissible.
Suppliers not yours.
I think such also not permitted.
Subsidiary or some creative.
No. What is not permitted directly is also not permitted indirectly. Such thing used to happen before 10 years. Many people used to do such thing, but that is not permissible.
Product on its website, how can it be itself in India? Itself in India. Then you cannot have this subsidy. Here's the question. They have to change their business models.
Yeah, yeah.
Never be in India. Yeah.
Next. Retail, single retail brand trading. It is permitted up to 100%, but beyond 49%, you have to take government approval. Up to 49%, it is allowed. Single brand retail trading. Suppose a foreign company who is manufacturing particular brand of shoes, shorts, etc. Single brand, their own brand. And if they want to market their own brand in India, then 100% investment is permitted. Beyond 49%, you have to obtain government approval. Then they can do the business without any restriction. If it is,
Now Reliance is coming up.
yeah,
In joint venture.
multi-brand retail trading. Instead of single brand, a foreign company is manufacturing number of brands. So they're manufacturing one or two items and rest of the they are buying from other suppliers. And they want to start business in India. Then 50 up to 51%, sectoral cap is 51%. Beyond 51%, it is not permitted and that too with the government approval. Even 1% multi-brand is also requires government permission. Now pharmaceutical. There are a number of sectors, 30, 40 sectors, 30 sectors. You can't discuss each and every one. Whenever some client comes, you have to open that and see what are the terms and conditions. Sometimes client asks, Isme kya? Isme kya? I don't know. You have to read it thoroughly, each and every. See, pharmaceutical, there are two types, greenfield and brownfield. 100% is an automatic route if it is a greenfield. Greenfield and brownfield. Does anyone know difference? Greenfield is new one. If the company started newly recently and non-resident investing in the new company, then it is greenfield. Once company has done operation in India for 5-10 years and made its own base in India, in non-resident then it is brownfield. In brownfield, the automatic route permission is up to 74%. Beyond 74%, you have to apply for government approval. It's very time consuming. Recently, I had applied for 1-2 companies. It took around 8 months. And I followed up 100 times with the Delhi department, Ministry of Pharmacy. It is very difficult, but you get the permission. Financial services up to 100%, banking sector up to 74%, 49% up to automatic route and beyond 49% and up to 74%, it is approval route. So a foreign bank, HSBC hai, Citibank hai, all foreign banks are operating in India. What is their structure? What is their organization? Does anybody know? They are falling under this category? Yeah. They are not in this category. They are branches of foreign bank. They are operating as a branch of the foreign company in India. And what is the difference between own company and branch? If it is your own company, if you fall under this category, then rate of tax is normal rate applicable to Indian companies, say 30% or 25% or whatever the rate. But if it is a branch of the foreign company, then the rate of taxation is 40%. If they are 100 rupees, they have to pay 40% plus surcharge plus cess. It may go to up to 45%. But the benefit is, if they are operating as a branch in India, once they pay the Indian tax, the rate of tax, they can take away outside without any restriction. But in case of companies, even if they pay 30% tax, and what is the balance profit, they cannot take away. If they distribute as a dividend, then the sellers will have to pay dividend tax in the. You have to deduct TDS also when you remit to non-resident. So I think this slide only for make you understand what is the sectoral cap, etc. Hope everybody understood. Okay. So in sectoral cap, FDI can be made within permissible sectoral cap as per the table provided in Schedule 1, which we have seen just now, and subject to compliance with the conditions applicable to the concerned activity. Whichever activity non-resident wants to do, if it is covered in this list, which I have shown just now, it is just 6-7 items. There are many items. You have to check your particular category. If it is covered in that list, then you have to see what are the terms and conditions. and it is not covered. It happens that 90% of activities are not covered under this. Then such activities is automatically permitted under 100% automatic route. All residual items which are not covered in the list are permissible up to 100% without any restriction. No terms and condition applies. Clear? બરોબર છે ને અતુલ? Pricing guidelines. Not applicable. See, pricing guidelines is a very important concept when it is FDI. You cannot issue shares to non-resident at any price you want. You have to issue share at a particular price, and valuation can be done under any of the internationally accepted valuation methods. Mostly people follow book value, that is a DCF or 11 UA. These are the two methods mostly followed. There is no definition which are the methods covered in the internationally accepted methods. So here in India we are following DCF and book value. Okay. Sometimes it happens that if it is a new company, then book value may be 10 rupees, 15 rupees like that. But if you go under the DCF concept, and if you want to manipulate, many of the people are manipulating, making it 50 rupees. But see, now the difference is DCF valuation was permitted under FEMA to chartered accountants. But under Income Tax Act, I think from 2018, they made it compulsory that it should be by merchant banker. Chartered accountant cannot do DCF valuation. Income tax में 11 there are two options. 11 UA valuation, that is the book value, or DCF by merchant banker. SEBI registered merchant banker. Under Companies Act. No, but under Income Tax Act, it is mandatory. Merchant banker only. Nobody else can do. Registered value can do under Section 62 of the Companies Act. Under Companies Act, registered valuation is allowed. But for income tax, it is either book value, 11 UA, or DC.
That is the case. They give facility to new companies those who are registered under DTI, not taxing the premium charged on the shares issued. Valuation of that shares has been done by the startup company, those who are registered under IBBI. You know, this.
You're talking about the income tax purpose or FEMA purpose?
New companies under Startup India are exempted.
They were exempt, but again, they were made taxable from 1st April 2023 in the budget. Again, recently when circular had come, they've given time of some 15-20 days. Within that, public has to give the response. Otherwise, they will again include in the list. Again, included or not, I'm not sure.
It's a valuation. The issue is that it is reviewed by CA. And that's used to accept that valuation.
There is no exemption under 11 UA. It is mandatory.
It was exempt under Startup India because they used to a separate certificate for that.
Correct.
Any premium.
That was permissible. Oh, okay.
10 rupee shares sold for 10,000 rupees, right?
Since they are startup, they are given leeway.
Okay.
Correct.
It is not as per the notification. It's not a notification. The fact is that it is under the act that they have provided it, wherein the valuation of the shares done by the chartered accountant, right? Have been accepted by Income Tax Department. Under that,
Which year are you talking about? Because this came, I think, from 18.
18, 19, 19, 20, 20, 21, 21, 22.
I'm not sure.
That startup has to be approved and registered by the Department of.
Definitely.
Correct.
Yeah, yeah.
That was the main.
APP.
But the DPBI registration is there,
Right.
it's tax free.
No, but I think 11 UMA, there is no any exemption like that. You'll have to check.
Anyway,
So there's this provision. Then the premium being charged is not.
56 to 10. No, 10 is different. 10 is covering of taxation of non-resident. We'll check, we'll check.
Definitely, first is DPIT, then everything follows.
Can you move further? See, when shares of the listed companies are being traded, then we don't have to go for the valuation because that will be as per the stock exchange or SEBI approved value. So valuation we are required to only for the unlisted company. Valuation says to be done by practicing chartered accountant, cost accountant, registered merchant banker as per any of the international accepted valuation methodology pricing under arm's length basis. Okay. While issuing equity shares, no exit value can be guaranteed. Because we have seen that many companies in India used to give guarantee before 5-10 years. Non-resident, invest in my share at 10 rupees. After 5 years, I will give you 25 rupees. So in the non-resident, we attracted 15 rupees return in 5 years. Very good return. But such thing is not allowed under FEMA. When you take capital from the non-resident as an Indian company, you cannot give any guarantee of the return. Assured return is not allowed. Tata Docomo is a very big case. 2010. इतना बड़ा कंपनी लेकिन कितना बड़ा घोटाला कर दिया विदाउट कंसिडरिंग फेमा वो जापान का कंपनी था ना टाटा दैट वाज अ वेरी ब्लंडर in case of right issue under FDI in case of right issue for FDI no valuation is required provided shares issued to the non-resident is not at a price below the price offered to resident. If company is coming out with the right issue and company has got resident shareholders as non-resident shareholders, then the price offered to non-resident shareholders cannot be lower than the price offered to resident shareholders. Means both are to be treated on same footing. If they are giving benefit to the non-resident investors, it is not fair, no? Equity instruments can be issued to non-resident at a price not below the fair market value determined by the valuer, but there is no any upper limit. Suppose if you go for the DCF valuation and 10 rupees ka share is valued at say 35 rupees, you can issue shares not below 35. That is one of the conditions under FDI. You cannot issue below 35 because it is indirectly you are giving benefit to the non-resident and you are adjusting money to Hawala. Such thing is not permitted. You can charge more than 35. 35 is the fair market value. You can charge 50, 100. In one of the absurd situations, you won't believe. One company, Indian company, for which I had done the FEMA format, FDI format in 2012. One local investor, JV, it was a JV, invested in 10 shares at rupees 10 per share, 1 lakh rupees. He deposited 1 lakh rupees in the account of the company. Another investment of 10,000 shares by the non-resident, the value was 30,000 per share. FEMA people accepted it. Because FEMA says anything above fair market value is permitted. This was a very absurd situation.
How do they manage this pre-IPO valuations?
Hmm?
You know, in pre-IPO, most of the NRIs are issued at a lower price than the IPO, which is likely to come maybe after everything for 10 days, is always a higher value. So how do they manage?
I don't think it is possible.
this?
Our issue is coming next year and people,
Next week.
no, that is, I think, no, they cannot give. Not my subject, but I think such thing is not possible. But here, Now 5627B of Income Tax Act is amended from 1st April 2023. What is this 5627B? If an Indian company other than a listed company brings capital from, earlier it was from a resident, and value charge per sale, the amount charged to the non-resident is more than fair market value, then difference is taxable in the hands of the company as income from other sources. Suppose the fair market value is 15 and is charging say 20 rupees. Then difference between 20 and 15, 5 rupees, is taxable in the hands of the company under 5627B. So earlier they were covering only resident. Now they have covered everybody. Even if you receive from the non-resident, then also you have to comply with this provision. So earlier we used to say, if the fair market value is 35 and your investor is a non-resident, you can charge 50, 100, whatever you want. And it was allowed, but now it is not allowed.
Besides fair market value.
Valuation, DCF valuation, so book value. You mean to say it is flexible, manipulate, people do the manipulation, that is a different thing.
Or rather it may be taken back, considering start.
So now it is not possible. That is why I mentioned under 5627B, even if under FEMA there is no care, you can charge beyond fair market.
Probably this happened only after ATM and Zomato. That's the reason probably they have thought of putting this.
No, intention over here is to curb the Hawala transaction. What happens? I have got 100 crores of my own in a foreign country. BVI, for example, there is no law, rules and regulations. I bring that money is lying in the name of XYZ. I bring in the form of FDI. Round tripping is a different thing. So now that also you have to comply with. You cannot charge more than 10. Even this came, I think, in the 2012. Prior to 2012, this provision was not there. People used to charge 110 rupees ka value on 100 rupees, 1000 rupees.
That was for bragging.
Yeah.
That was for bragging.
It was being misused. That is why people. I think we have got this. Now, I'm just giving you the brief idea. What are the formalities to be complied with when it is a foreign direct investment? Okay. For new issue of shares, you have to create business user and entity master registration to be done through RBI firm portal. Shares to be allotted within 60 days of the receipt of the fund from the non-resident, and it cannot be issued at a price below the fair market value. Once the shares are allotted, within 30 days, you have to file Form FCGPR online on the firm portal, for which you have met the registration as business user. And once you submitted the form online, within 3 or 4 days, either they approve it, or if they have got any deficiency, they reject it. And again, you have to reapply. Now, some of the important documents which are to be attached when you file Form FCGPR. FCGPR very common for FDI. Okay. Then you have to attach this many documents. FIRC, Foreign Inward Remittance Certificate. That is the evidence that money has come into bank account of Indian company from outside India. Your banker issues FIRC. Then you have to take KYC from the Indian banker where the fund is deposited. KYC is issued by the Indian banker on the basis of the information received from the non-resident banker. So non-resident banker is say Citibank USA, and here it is say HSBC. Then HSBC will call for the information, KYC information, 6-pointer information from the Citibank New York. They will give the information on SWIFT message to the Indian bank, and on the basis of that, Indian bank will issue the KYC. And it happens in many cases. Bankers are not giving KYC. Go for 10 times, 50 times, 100 times, they don't give. We'll give.
Instead of communication, what you have said is absolutely right. We have undergone that last month. The Citibank. No, rather Bank of America. They said we don't have a system.
Yeah, that is most of the countries say we are not aware of what is
We have
KYC.
sent it, we have sent it. PR has been given. There it was HDFC Bank, was insisting HDFC Bank valid. I have to speak to the guy who's in charge, in charge of what HDFC. But ultimately it happened. Only thing is that you have to keep on this. But banker from India will have to keep on asking them once or twice or thrice.
If the foreign bank doesn't reply, what does banker, Indian banker do? And that has to come to the SWIFT message.
Yes. But that confirmation is KYC. You say the absolute right. 6
Very
months.
problematic, very problematic. And apart from that,
There are the rules in India, right? It doesn't apply in US.
yeah, that is what they say. Most of the bankers say is, we are not aware what is KYC requirement. We are not supposed to give. What can you do? That is why some new company comes and they want to invest in India in the form of FDI. We first ask whether you will get the KYC and FIS, first check up with your bank. If they are confident, only then you whether it's in the bank.
That comes up with another questions also. I don't know how many of you are aware that whenever you are filing an income tax return of a non-resident in India, right? You're supposed to give the TIN number, right? What is that TIN number of a non-resident?
Tax identification number equivalent to PAN.
What is that tax identification number? There is no such number exists in US at all, or other in Canada. at
That is
all.
check income tax number. Income tax number.
That's at all.
Yes, ma'am.
If you try federal government at all.
No, it is not like that. We see, I've been issuing 30, 40 FC up now, 15 CSEB per month. We have got many parties from the USA, Australia, Canada. We get the T number.
No, what they give is an SSN, social security number, the basis of which they file income tax return there. Now here, whenever you are asking them, he said, no, this is a very confidential thing. We cannot part with this.
They cannot deny. Otherwise, it's not possible.
There is no other EIN number which exists.
It has to be there.
Anyhow,
Next attachment to be done with FCPR is community declaration. Board resolution for allotment of the shares. You have to attach the copy of the board resolution and the shares are allotted to so and so non-resident. Then share valuation certificate if required, if applicable. If it is a right issue and valuation is not required. Similarly, if a company is formed recently in India and names of the shareholders are there in a memorandum of association, they will invest so many number of shares. And if it is within that limit, then valuation is not required. It is, you can allot at a value of 10 rupees.
Valuation certification, the auditor or again from the merchant bank.
Here, FEMA it is permitted from the any CA, CS, company secretary, CA, not CS, company secretary, sorry, a cost accountant, chartered accountant, and merchant banker. CS compliance certificate. This is also mandatory. Huh? Along with the other documents, you have to obtain a certificate from the company secretary that so far as the provisions of the Companies Act are concerned in respect of this particular allotment of FDI, all complied with. That is a certificate you have to obtain from company secretary. That is also to be attached with FCPR. Undertaking by the company declaring no investment from border sharing countries. This came in during Corona.
some China.
Border sharing countries investment is there, it is not permitted without government approval. Even direct, indirect investment is also not permitted. Suppose a China company has got a company in France and that company wants to invest in India, that is also not permitted. They take in writing, directly or indirectly, through a subsidiary or no investment is from China, border sharing country. So this declaration you have to give. And if it is a right issue, any question? If it is a right issue, then you have to give proof that the particular shareholder to whom we have offered shares he was already allotted shares of this company. Otherwise, they will not approve your FCP account. If you are allotting shares to a particular non-resident for the first time, then it is not right. Apart from this, there are small many other requirements, but these are the main requirements. KYC in FRC is 9. Because some of the companies, recently one company had come to me, that they had made investment before 10-15 years. They do not know whether FEMA permanently complied or not. And now company is liquidated and some 10 crores has come. We have to remit it back. Not possible. Unless you complied with all the FEMA formality, FDA formality, and if you want to remit it back to a home country, it's not public time.
So what the bonus shares?
Hmm.
If a company issues bonus shares, then also they have to file FCDPR.
Yeah. You have to file. But no valuation, no consideration is required.
Yeah, then
Nothing is required, only board resolution. Yeah, remittance nahi hai, there is no KYC required. Money is not come from outside India. No documents are required. If you don't file FCDPR, then the question is, future mein, suppose original sales is 1,000 and you received say 5,000 as a bonus over a period of 10 years. Then you say, ye kahan se aaya?
you have to trail of each and every amount.
Yeah. You have to have a complete trail. Now, we have time on half an hour, I'll complete. So, Schedule 3, we have completed FDI portion, foreign direct investment on repatriation basis, investment by the NRI, OCI. Okay. Now, we are going to Schedule 3, that is portfolio investment. If a non-resident wants to invest in Indian stock market and earn profit out of that buying and selling, they can do that. They are covered under Schedule 3. But first thing, as I told you, is that they have to register as a portfolio investment scheme through any banker in India. They have to select a particular bank, they have to open an NRI account, and they have to register themselves as a PIS. The banker will do within 24 hours. RBI gives the registration number as PIS. They have to quote that registration number with the future correspondence, etc. And once they are registered, they can buy shares from Indian market, stock exchange. But now there are certain conditions. They can do only through a particular banker, in which he has got NRI. So payment and receipt both should be routed to that particular AD, not from the third banker. Okay. Now condition is, if individual wants to buy the shares of the Indian company, then the limit is 5% of the paid up capital of the Indian company. In case of each series of shares, debentures, preferences, or warrant issued by the Indian company. So non-resident who is registered as PIS and he wants to acquire shares of Indian listed company, there is a cap of 5%. They cannot acquire shares of Indian company beyond 5%. Okay. So similarly, if aggregate investment by all the non-resident PIO exceeds 10%, then also it is not permitted. That is second condition. Individually, limit is 5%, and all NRI, OCI together for a particular company, investment exceeds 10%. That is also not permissible. But here they have given a relaxation that limit of 10% can be raised up to 24% if the company passes a resolution in general body meeting, general body meeting, that is AGM. If the Indian company passes a resolution in AGM, if we want to raise this limit from 10 to 24 and it is accepted, then this limit is exceeds to 24%.
Now, as a buyer, how would I know whether it is exceeding 10%?
$100 question. $100 question. This is a practical question.
three types of trade sales reverse.
See, same day, if you buy some shares security, then same day banker gets the intimation from the broker, and banker sends it to depository agent. Depository agent immediately reverse this has exceeded 5%. Then immediately they will ask you to sell off the investment within 3 or 4 days.
No, 5% to, because it is.
You have to reverse, no option. No, there is no option. You have to reverse it. Similarly, if the total investment of all NRI together exceeds 10%, then who is the last investor? Because nowadays in broker gives 9 date, time, everything. Whichever is the last investment, you will have to reverse it within 3 or 4 days.
You don't have to. System will do.
No, system will not reverse. You have to intimate the depository will intimate to broker, and broker will intimate to NRI, and NRI will have to intimate to broker. But benefit is that this limit can be raised up to 24% for all NRI together. Okay. Such NRI OCI can also invest without any limit in domestic mutual funds whose investment in equity instrument is more than 50%. Here there is no limit. If NRI OCI wants to invest in the mutual fund, units of the mutual fund, domestic mutual fund, local mutual fund, whose investment in equity is more than 50%. If it is less than 50%, then it is not permitted. There is a debt fund. Here it is permitted without any limit. Such NRI OCI can also invest in public sector enterprises being disinvested by the central government. As we discussed, NRI OCI will have to register themselves as a portfolio investment scheme. Then they have to have 2 accounts, NRI account with a particular banker. And when they purchase the share, the consideration goes from the NRE account. That NRE account is specifically designated as NRE into bracket PIS. That account cannot be used for any other purpose, exclusively for trading, security market. Okay. So when purchase is, consideration goes from the NRE account. And when the non-resident sells, then it first goes to the NRO account. And banker will immediately check. Banker keeps the detail of shareholdings of each and every investor, PIS. Okay. When he had purchased, what rate, which date, whether it is short-term gain, long-term capital gain, he will compare, find out the amount of the short-term, long-term capital gain. He will deduct TDS accordingly, and net of tax amount he will transfer to NRE. And once it is transferred to NRE account, again that fund can be used for buying new shares.
Practically, to get this PIS number only from one bank, or it can be from that?
You have to do trading with one bank only. You can do with another bank also, there is no problem. But this is a specific account.
No, suppose I have 2 NRI accounts. One with say,
I think there is no restriction. That is permitted.
PIS has to be only one account.
No.
Regardless of any NRI account. PIS can be issued one only because it is issued by.
Suppose I am in Delhi and Mumbai, I've got 2 accounts. I don't think.
PIS account has to be one only.
I think only one is.
No, maybe because RBI gives the registration of PIS under particular name. Same person has already been registered. Then again, I think they may not be the person. That is. So I was not. Maybe. Because they give you the registration on a particular name. This person has already been registered and is allotted PIS. How can we allot?
Sir, it is one.
Okay.
And
I didn't know practically.
Sale proceeds get deposited into NRE account.
No, see nowadays, earlier it was being deposited in NRO account, but nowadays I read somewhere, okay, it is also, you don't have to NRO account, banker directly deducts the TDS and immediately credited to NRE account. So that is also possible. This is the system, banking system. Earlier it was NRO account. Now recently it is changed. Don't have to NRO account. You can have only one account. Yeah, correct. Earlier they used to follow this system. Because see, earlier when there was no computerization, it was difficult for the banker to manage the data daily, same day. Now it is systematic. System se hota hai na? So friends, you have covered up investment under Schedule 3, that is portfolio investment by NRI OCI. Now we are going to schedule 4. Investment by NRI OCI on non-repatriation basis. And here there is no any permission from government, RBI is required. See, for purchase and sale of equity instruments or contribution to capital of LLP, okay, investors should be NRI or OCI, or here they've added one more category. Apart from NRI and OCI, they've added one category, a company trust partnership firm which is owned and controlled by NRI or OCI. Such investor is also considered as eligible to make investment under this schedule. Now, I've got a company outside India. I'm an NRI. 90% investment is mine. Such company can also invest in India. And they are eligible for all the benefits which are given to NRI OCI. Okay. Equity instruments issued by the Indian company without any limit through stock exchange or under private placement in listed company, unlisted company. Okay. Units issued by the investment vehicle without any limit through stock exchange or outside India. Capital contribution in LLP without any limit. Convertible notes issued by startup company. All the above investments are considered at par with investment made by the resident. These investments are considered as if such investments are made by the resident. So they are at par with the resident. हम लोग being resident, whatever we can do, they can also do. NRI OCI can purchase sale units of domestic mutual funds without any limit, provided such mutual fund have made investment more than 50% in the equity instruments. Here there is no limit. They can invest. But in all these category except mutual fund, point number 2, there are some prohibited activity. Investment in the equity instruments, units of Nidhi fund or companies engaged in agriculture activity, plantation activity, real estate business or construction of farmhouse or dealing in TDR. These activities are prohibited. Even if investment is on non-repatriation basis by NRI OCI, investment which are listed here are prohibited, except investment in mutual fund. Point number 2, there is no limit. Similarly, NRI OCI can also invest in the proprietary partnership firm in India, which can undertake all business activity except the prohibited activities like agriculture, plantation, print media, and real estate. For proprietary partnership, the prohibited activities are only this: agriculture, plantation, print media, and real estate. Except this activity, they can do any activity. And if they want to invest in India, they can invest from the NRO account, NRE account, or direct remittance from outside India. Whatever income is earned by them, partnership from proprietor, that is fully repatriable, subject to payment of Indian taxes. We already discussed. So capital is a 1 lakh, an investment, a profit is 1 crore. The 1 crore, subject to tax, you can remit. What is not permittable is the initial capital invested. That is the principal amount is not permitted to be repatriated. But while they exit from this entity, partnership, proprietorship, whatever amount he gets, that is to be deposited in NRO account only, because it is a non-repatriation basis. Okay. Normally, fund lying in NRO is not permitted to be repatriated, but under 1 million scheme per year, you are allowed to repatriate. So small NRIs whose investment is less than 8 crore, then it is permitted. It is allowed. Whether you go under repatriation or doesn't make any difference. We go under 1 million, you can remit it outside India if required. Those who want to invest 10, 15 million, 20 million, they will think twice. They will not invest in proprietary partnership. Is it clear? Any doubt? Which business? Lottery is prohibited. Ne? See, no, so see. There is a notification 1. Notification 1 is issued that is applicable to each and every non-resident. So certain business like lottery, gambling is prohibited to everyone. Any other question? Non-resident cannot buy agricultural land in India, but if he had already purchased the agricultural land prior to becoming non-resident, then he is allowed to hold such agricultural land. Inheritance, then nobody can restrict the inheritance. Even inheritance method, if you give, say in your will, if you mention name of the foreign non-resident who is non-NRI, absolute foreigner, and he is also entitled to claim that agricultural land. Yeah. But the thing is over here in FEMA is that there is no any monitoring authority. One client had come to me before 5-6 years. He is in USA for last 35 years. He had agricultural land in Surat. Again, he purchased agricultural land before 4-5 years. So somebody told him that this is a violation. Under section 13 of FEMA, there is a penalty of 300%. If it is violation, he says I purchased land of 10 CR, 30 CR with the penalty. That consultant brought him to me 5 years back. I told if you go to RBI for the compounding, RBI will not give the permission. Something which is not permitted under FEMA, if you go to RBI and claim special approval, if you go for the compounding, RBI will not grant the permission. And there is no any monitoring authority. So better you dispose of the land and forget it. Now we'll go to last slide. This needs to be discussed probably. I think I had read this question earlier. Prior to 2008, there were two only entities, private limited company and partnership 1932. So non-resident who wanted to invest in India, they were very hesitant because of the advantage in private limited company is limited liability. And disadvantage of private limited company, double taxation. Company has to pay tax and then seller will have to pay tax on dividend. There is a double taxation. See, in case of branch, foreign banks are operating in India, the rate of tax is 40% plus surcharge plus cess. Why there is a 40% and in company it is 30%, 25%? Somebody had filed in Kolkata long back, I think 15-20 years back, appeal with the High Court, Kolkata High Court. See, in DTA, double tax avoidance agreement, there is one provision. Okay, whatever treatment you are giving to the resident, you have to give same treatment to the resident. You cannot have any partiality, discrimination. If resident company charge 30% tax, how can you charge 40% to branch of the foreign company? They are also doing business. Resident also doing business. How can you charge 40%? Kolkata High Court gave a decision that this is not discrimination because non-Indian company who pays 30% tax and thereafter, whenever they distribute the dividend, either company has to pay, earlier it was dividend distribution tax, now it is sales tax. They have to pay. Ultimately, the tax liability is more than that what we are charging to the branch. If a branch of the foreign company is operating in India, whatever profit they earn after paying tax, they take over to home country. They distribute dividend all that. We are not going to get any tax on distribution of dividend. That is why it is not discrimination. Otherwise, ground was valid. It is a discrimination. So, what we are discussing here, in private limited company, liability is limited, but the disadvantage is you have to pay double tax. And in certain cases, earlier see it was a dividend distribution tax, that was 20%. Now it is shareholder. Some of the shareholders who are in the high bracket, say more than 5 CR, the rate of tax is 30%, and say surcharge was 37, now it reduced to 25. 25, then 37 and 4% cess. All together will go 38, 39%. Dividend distribution rate was 20%. Here they are in loss. So it is too much tax. Similarly, in partnership firm, advantage is there is no double taxation. Once firm pays the tax, net of tax profit can be remitted outside India. But the disadvantage of partnership form is unlimited liability. In case, see, Indians are not bothered about the liability, but non-resident who comes to India for doing business, they will be very overcautious. If you do any business and something goes wrong and we are exposed to some liability, we don't want to go for any entity where liability is unlimited. So they try to select the liability is unlimited. Okay. So new entity was formed in 2008. Advantage of both. See, private limited company, limited liability, and no double taxation, the benefit of the partnership. Both are picked up and put here. So in LLP, liability is limited and there is no double taxation. Understood the difference? What is the? But here, now question is, now my question is, then why do people form private limited company? Why everybody doesn't go for the LLP? Huh? Suppose you don't require ECB, then last slide, we have got it. Investment in LLP by non-resident on repatriation basis under automatic route. See, it is under automatic as well as approval route. I've called under automatic route. Why? See, any non-resident except citizen of Pakistan and Bangladesh or entity from Pakistan and Bangladesh permitted to invest in LLP in India. Investment in LLP is allowed under automatic route if foreign direct investment sectoral cap is 100%. And there is no any performance linked condition. If these two conditions are satisfied, then you can do business in LLP. You can bring FDI in LLP under automatic route. You have to comply with all the formalities, not FCG, but it is LLC one. But you have to comply with small formalities. But investment is permitted in LLP. But if you are not meeting these two conditions, then you have to go for the approval of central government. So if sectoral cap is 100%, list of the sectoral cap which I have shown, there are I think 25-30 categories of company. Most of the companies fall under residual category, where the limit is 100%. And such people want to do business in India, then LLP is allowed. And there is no performance link condition also. Question of performance link condition arises when it is there in the sectoral cap. Most of the sectoral cap, they have put so many conditions, this, that. If it is falling under residual category, then there is no such conditions, and sectoral cap is 100%, then it is permitted automatically. Here the valuation of LLP is mandatory under internationally accepted valuation method at the time of bringing new investment into India, as well as at the time when one shareholder transfer is saved to another shareholder, another new buyer, partner. Investment can be made from NRI, NRO, or direct remittance from outside India, but at the time of exit, it is fully repatriable. Principal is repatriable and profit is also repatriable, subject to tax. Only the problem with the LLP is, as we said, he is not allowed to borrow money by way of ECB. ECB means borrowing, loan. In FEMA language, it is called external commercial borrowing. What happens? Suppose I require 10 CR. I bring only 1 CR in the form of capital and 9 CR by way of ECB. What is the intention? I can charge interest on ECB. That is deductible. And second thing, suppose I am expecting on profit within say 4, 5 years, 10 years. I can repatriate the full amount. If it is in the form of capital, then how will you repatriate? So people are planning like this. This is called what's the capital? Thin capital structure. Certain countries doesn't allow such structure. They say a minimum you have to bring 25% in the form of capital and 75% you can bring in the form of loan, ECB. There are certain countries, but India doesn't have such this thing. Yeah, amendment made is there. Section 80. Yeah, interest above once, yeah. I'm doing that. Thin capital structure. This is what. Well, capital is very thin. Borrowing is big. Such thing is not permitted. But India it is allowed. So any question, friends? Now we have got 10 minutes. If you have any question, we'll take. Your LRs you're talking about? LRs. What is your question? Simple question in a layman's language. Hmm. You can send under LRS in the form of gift or loan to any close relative defined under section 277 of the Companies Act. You cannot send to any NRI. It should be a close relative defined under 277 of the Companies Act. Depends. Suppose you are sending to your son and he is likely to earn a big amount within 5 years. You give him the form of loan so that when he earns, you can bring it back to India. And suppose your intention is to forgo it, then you send a form of capital that nobody can add it. Yes, after paying the tax, he can transfer the rent to India. In resident, when resident is your tenant, you will first pay in NRI account and then you have to transfer it to NRE by taking 15 CACB from the CA. Or if you give instruction to your resident tenant to directly remit it outside India, he can also do that, but he will also have to file 15 CACB and deduct the tax, 30% tax.
Is it allowed in LRS or we have to pay up to?
See, if your investment is in foreign country, then you have to have any organization which has got limited liability, LLP, LLC, but pure proprietorship, partnership is not allowed. The foreign organization should be entity, should be with limited liability. If liability is unlimited, they can expose to a very big liability and can cause problem to the Indian network of the concerned individual. So only the foreign entity with limited liability, you are allowed to make investment in. And you can invest through LRS. If you are individual, you can invest through LRS up to 250,000. And if you want to make investment private limited company, it is 400% of the net worth of the Indian company. LLP or private limited company. 4 times. What is the logic behind giving this limit of 400%? You have got 100 rupees, you can invest 400 rupees, means borrow 300 rupees and invest. In LRS, when you file the LRS declaration, it is mentioned in LRS declaration that it is your own money. You have borrowed money, then it is not allowed. It should be your own money. But here, 400% means borrow 300% of the market and invest. What is the logic? Earlier, when the ODI was permitted, limit was 25%. Then they raised 50%, then 100%, 200%, now 400%.
There are many foreigners who are actually working here, so they become resident as well in companies. They earn salary. Then this money, the 15 CACB or out?
See, I've got one client, listed company. We are emitting their foreign employee salary. They are into this thing, aircraft business. So we are remitting salary of many pilots every month directly to their home country by filing 15 CACB.
The employee wants to.
It is possible.
15 CS.
Yeah, yeah,
Because otherwise, bank is deducting.
yeah, definitely, definitely.
They say that.
See, in short, banker or government wants to make it sure that applicable tax has been deducted. That is the intention. It is a current income. Current income can be remitted outside India. There is no restriction. Nobody can. Even LRS may you can also buy property outside India. That is also part of it.
Invest in shares.
Share security, you can do in many things.
Yes.
Current account, capital account, you can do many things. In India, no? It, private limited can borrow by way of ECB. India में तो borrow कर, India में तो इतना restriction. Foreign से, foreign, नहीं. If borrowing is from India, it is allowed. No, it is not foreign, not allowed. Private company can borrow. Yeah. Yeah, you have to take prior permission and you have to apply.
CB up to 10 billion USD is under automatic. If it is above 10, you will have to take a special permission from the bank. That is issue.
10 limit is up. I think more limit is quite more. I've done many ECB transactions. Limit, no 10 is big limit.
Very
Earlier it was a condition that you can borrow money only from the equity holder who owns 25%. Now such condition is applicable only in case of individuals. If the lender is individual, then you have to see this condition. Otherwise, if lender is a company, then this condition is not applicable. I've done many ECB cases.
one very stupid question. That majority of us go out of India for a pleasure trip. Somebody has gone to US and bought a lottery ticket there of $1. So whatever money dollars that you carried cash to, you got around $100,000. How will that be taxed?
In India. Actually speaking,
Taxed in India at all or not? Because
see, buying lottery tickets from outside India is a current account transaction. Okay, but it is a prohibited transaction. It is not illegal. You earn, but you cannot bring it to India.
No. See, as far as income tax is concerned, let me probably reply. There is no difference between illegal and legal. Everything is taxable. So, under
FEMA it is illegal. Income tax may be taxed.
It is
Like-
accident to pay.
Like gambling.
here also it will be taxed.
Even if it is.
It is like smuggling income.
Yeah.
See, people used to send silver from India to Gulf countries. For Indian people who used to send the silver, they are considered a smuggler in India. But for Dubai people, it is a business because there is no restriction. They can buy from India.
There is no legality.
TCS में देखो अभी they come out with the 20% TCS. Limit is $250,000. But if it is more than $250,000, more than 7 lakh rupees, 7 lakh rupees, then TCS is applicable. Except medical expenses, I think. Education, maybe I think they will not have.
There is confusion on, many.
More than it is 0.05%.
Is loan money that you are remitting for education? There's a
Even they also included, earlier they had included credit card. Okay, suppose I am having 10 different banks credit card. Who will you test the limit? Tracking is difficult, no?
I don't know, based on a plan, you will come to know.
We are, see, in my building, I'm running a study circle in FEMA only. My office in the uptown Solaris. So last week we had a meeting on the same thing. So this was the question: how will government have a track I was using 10 different cards. I'll take a limit of 7 lakh from each. Then how will they track? I said, okay, pen number is the only permissible thing. If you give pen number, then that will be recorded somewhere when the total limit exceeds. But then who will verify? Banker cannot verify each and every time. No?
I think they have, as well bank is
It is
concerned,
practically
they have provided.
monitoring all this is very difficult. Yeah. बोलना आसान है लेकिन practically it's very difficult. Yeah, definitely.
Next session.
Sir, no problem.
Comes all that.
Okay,
For another session. We have a
okay,
refreshment outside. If there's any query, we can take outside. The
okay, fine.
so the presentation is done.
Okay, everybody satisfied?
So it has been a very wonderful session, very elaborate and
One,
1 minute.
please.
We can sit for 2 minutes and just give a vote of thanks and then we'll proceed for slides. So on behalf of the whole study circle and the group, I would like to propose a hearty vote of thanks to C. Naren Madlani for sparing his time. First of all, accepting our invitation. Very elaborate presentation, taking all the queries, and a big thank you to all of you for coming here and interacting and making it a successful session. Thank you. We all have snacks served outside, so we can join for snacks.
Yeah.